The book of Jubilees, chapter 21. And Abraham commanded Isaac, prior to him dying, to obey Yah's commandments and do his will. Abraham commanded Isaac not to eat blood, nor take gifts for blood, the acceptable wood types when building a wood altar. Chapter 21. And in the 6th year of the 7th week of this Jubilee, Abraham called Isaac his son, and 20:57 or 20:50 a.m. commanded him, saying, I am become old, and know not the day of my death, and am full of my days. And behold, I am 175 years old, and throughout all the days of my life I have remembered Yahuwah, and sought with him all my heart to do his will, and to walk uprightly in all his ways. My soul has hated idols, given my heart and spirit, that I might observe to do the will of him who created me. For he is the living Eloah, the God, and he is holy and faithful, and he is righteous beyond all, and there is with him no accepting of men's persons, and no accepting of gifts. For Eloah, our Elohim, our God, Yahuwah, is righteous, and executed judgment all those who transgress his commandments and despise his covenant. And do thou, my son, observe his commandments and his ordinances and his judgments, and walk not after the abominations, and after the graven images, and after the molten images, and eat no blood at all of animals or cattle, or any birds which flies in the heavens. And if thou dost slay a victim as an acceptable peace offering, slay ye it, and pour out its blood upon the altar, and all the fat of the offering offer on the altar with fine flour, the meat offering mingled with oil, with this drink offering, offer them all together on the altar of burnt offerings. It is a sweet savor before Yahuwah. And thou would offer the fat of the sacrifices of thank offerings on the fire which is upon the altar, and the fat which is on the belly, and all the fat on the inwards, and the kidneys, and all the fat that is upon them. And upon the loins and the liver thou shalt remove together with the kidneys, and offer all these for a sweet savor acceptable before Yahuwah, with its meat offering and with its drink offering for a sweet savor, the bread of the offering to Yahuwah. And eat its meat on that day and on the second day, and let not the sun on the second day go down upon it until it is eaten, and let nothing be left over for the third day. For it is not acceptable, for it is not approved. And let it no longer be eaten, and all who eat thereof will bring sin upon themselves. For thus I have found it written in the books of my forefathers, and in the words of Enoch, and in the words of Noah. And on all thy obligations thou shalt strew salt, and let not the salt of the covenants be lacking in all thy obligations before Yahuwah. And as regards the wood of the sacrifices, beware lest thou bring other wood for the altar in addition to these types: cypress, bay, almond, fir, pine, cedar, savin, fig, olive, myrrh, laurel, aspalathus, and all these kinds of wood lay upon the altar under the sacrifice, such as have been tested. As to their appearances, do not lay thereon any split or dark wood, but hard and clean, without fault, a sound and a new growth. And do not lay thereon old wood, for its fragrances is gone, for there is no longer fragrance in it as before. Besides these kinds of wood, there is none other than thou shalt place on the altar, for the fragrance is dispersed, and the smell of its fragrance goes not up to heaven. Observe the commandment and do it, my son, that thou mayest be upright in all thy deeds, and at all times be clean in thy body, and wash thyself with water before thou approachest to offer an altar, and wash thy hands and thy feet before thou drawest near to the altar. And when thou art done sacrificing, wash again thy hands and thy feet, and let no blood appear upon you, nor upon your clothes. Be on the guard, my son, against blood. Be on the guard exceedingly, cover it with dust. And do not eat any blood, for it is the soul. Eat no blood whatever, and take no gifts for the blood of man, lest it be shed with impunity without judgment. For it is the blood that is shed that causes the earth to sin, and the earth cannot be cleansed from the blood of man save by the blood of him who shed it. And take no present of gift for the blood of man, blood for blood, that thou mayst be accepted before Yahuwah, the Most High Elohim, for he is the defense of the good, and that thou mayest be preserved from all evil, and that he may save thee from every kind of death. I see, my son, that all the works of the children of men are sin and wickedness, and all their deeds are uncleanliness and an abomination and a pollution, and there is no righteousness with them. Beware lest thou shouldest walk in their ways, and tread in their paths, and sin a sin unto death before the Most High Elohim, Yahuwah. Else he will hide his face from thee, and give thee back into the hands of thy transgression, and root thee out of the land, and thy seed likewise from under the heaven. And thy name and thy seed shall perish from the whole earth. Turn away from all kinds of deeds and all their uncleanness, and observe the ordinance of the Most High Elohim, Yahuwah, and do his will, and be upright in all things. And he will bless thee in all thy deeds, and will raise up from thee a plant of righteousness through all the earth, throughout all generations of the earth. And my name and thy name shall not be forgotten under heaven forever. Go, my son, in peace. May the Most High Elohim, Yahuwah, my Elohim, and thy Elohim, strengthen thee to do his will, and may he bless all thy seed, and the residue of thy seed for all the generations forever, with all righteousness blessings, that thou mayest be a blessing on all the earth. And he went out from him rejoicing. And that is the end of chapter 21 of the book of Jubilees.